Jim Brown talks us through the importance of the coal boats era and its contribution to generating employment for local men in the 60s.
And we'd like to talk about the coal trade that was here long ago. There was a massive coal trade here. McCones and Tralee were the importers, and they had 93% of the sale of coal in Kerry at the time. The ships that brought in the coal, they were owned by a company in Belfast. The Kellys were their names, and Jim Bryce, the managing director of McCones, was their nephew. Digging coal, they used to call it, was fierce hard work altogether. The holt would be opened, and the dockers would have to dig down through the middle of the coal until they reached the floor of the ship. They had big navvy shovels for that job. Then it would be loaded onto tubs, and that tub would be lifted by the steam crane up onto the wagon. And there was a man up there tipping tubs, they used to call it. The tub was on a balance, and he'd pull a lever and it would tilt over and spill the coal into the wagon. And then he'd flick it back again and it would click into place, and the crane driver would carry on from there. But it was very hard work, but they were very happy at it and they enjoyed it. They had a good old crack going between themselves. All the coal would be taken into Tralee in the steam train. I remember the old train going up the pier and into Tralee. And in the evening then, when the ship was finished, it was a natural progression to go to Sullivan's pub, to the main port to call for them. And these boys really enjoyed their couple of pints to wash down the coal dust. I am here this evening in Sullivan's pub in Fenit with a lot of my old friends and relations. It is a beautiful old listed building. It hasn't been used as a pub for a number of years now, but hopefully in the future it will be restored again because it has an awful lot of character. This place was home for generations of Fenit people, and it was known all over the south coast and the west coast to seafarers and sailors. We had some great characters coming in here, too numerous to mention, but you all know who we're talking about. But I'll always remember they were great musicians, were able to sing a song and tell a yarn. And one of my favourites was Tony Brown, and when Tony would sing the Port Yarrock, you could hear a pin falling.
Mournful was the scene when the ship began to break. 20 Norwegian sailors into the deep were laid. Now as I gazed upon them, many in Brandon shore, no help was there to save their lives, at last they are no more.
God help their poor relations that they have left behind, far, far away from Brandon Bay. In sorrow there you'll find, when they think upon their sailor men who are lost on Kilcommon shore. The Lord have mercy on their souls, their sailing days are o'er. Before I do lay down my pen, I have one more to say. All other men that do pass by, remember Brandon Bay, where Captain Forbes and all his crew close by the shore do lie.
Okay.
But to come back to Sullivan's pub, it has been here always. It was there in British times, and it had great association with the docks when the docks were very busy. I heard my father saying one time the porter flowed out the door. And we're fortunate this evening to have a man here who's a great local historian and who knows the history of this building. I'd like to get Denny King to say a few words about it.
This was always a happy house, and we have lots of happy memories of it. The original building would have dated from 1870. It was then the residence of Mr. Johnson, who was part of the entourage of J.C.D. Hurley of Fenit House. Subsequently, Mr. Johnson went to live in Churchill, and Florence Sullivan became the proprietor. It was he who opened the bar. The original bar would have been opened between 1882 and 1889 during the building of the first Fenit pier. The building then was smaller than at the present. If one studies from the road, they can see by the changes in colour of the slates on the roof where the original building finished and the extension began. The bar was then located in what was afterwards called the coffee room, and apparently there were some hectic nights there. But one of the most bizarre things that they witnessed in the bar, Agnes Rayburner's mother was telling me about it in Gloucester, and that was one fine summer's day they had the door open, and down the road charged a female ass with a male ass following her. And the female was in heat and running at her best, and in her panic, in the door she ran up the bar until her head got wedged between the topmost post above and the counter. And there the male cornered her and performed. And that was the most unusual event ever seen in the bar, or any bar, I'd say.
We had some great characters coming in here. We could be talking about them for a week. But another one I have good memories of was Robbie Kelly. He was a good accordion player and he was a good singer. He used to make up his own songs a lot and more funny. But he was a great character really. And to no bother to him a fine night, if he went down home, he'd take out the chair and he'd sit outside the door and he'd play his accordion. And who know by his music what kind of farm he was in. If he was in bad farm, the music would be inclined to be lonesome. But if he was in good farm, he'd belt it out. And we're lucky to have his son Robert here tonight to sing one of my favourite songs, Vinnie the Rover.
An old castle towers o'er the billows that thunders by clean as Greenland, and there dwelt as gallant a rover that ever took sword in the hand. 8 stately towers of the waters lie anchored in Baltimore Bay, and over their 20 score sailors, oh, who but the rover holds sway. Then ho for Finning the rover, Finning O'Driscoll the free, straight as the mast of his galley, and wild as the waves of the sea. Oh, wrap me up in me oilskins and jumpers, no more on the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates, and I'll see you someday in Fiddler's Green. Oh, don't give me a harp, nor a halo, not me. Just give me a ship and a good rolling sea. I'll play me old squeeze box as we sail along, with the wind in the rigging to sing you this song. Oh, wrap me up in me oilskins and jumpers, no more round the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking my last trip, mates, and I'll see you all someday in Fiddler's Green.
I'm delighted now and privileged to be able to introduce an old friend of mine, Patrick King. Patrick drank many a pint in here and he's a very well-known local character.
Margaret Thatcher talking on TV looks so sincere as she says to me, there'd be no unemployment if he all used a bit of initiative. I was on the dole, I was broken more, says I'll take a ratter word. Got a loan from a credit union man and bought myself a transit van. Next time up the ladder now, I bought myself an old fat sow. Crossed the border quite legally, collected the common market subsidy. Signed all the forms, handed back the pen, smuggled old sow back home again. 10 times a day I worked this plan, myself the sow and the transit van. Travel sickness the sow picked up, says I, it's time to diversify. Took all my money from the biscuit tin, filled the van to the roof with whiskey and gin. Around the south I'd sell me wares in public houses and hotels. There was never a guard that a customs man shoved his nose inside the transit van. It being lint and the drink fed slow, I changed to carrying video. Well, on the road to Ballybay, found the customs roadblock on me way. A place of wonder I got a turned, the engine roared and the tyres burned. 5 patrol cars fully manned were in hot pursuit of the transit van. Through Clontarf I did go, I was heading for the County Mayo. Round the corner I hit a dog, went over the ditch, landed in the bog. I sat on the bank, watched all I owned, sinking in a backhole like a stone. She was lying on the roof with the wheels still turning and the stereo playing Denner O'Donnell. Now I'm back where I first began, no job, no money, but I've a plan. There is a girl up in Mullingar, she can hold me future in her hand. She doesn't look like a film star, but she's been telling me about her dad. He has no property or land, but he has 2 sows and a transit van. The Queen of England drives a Rolls Royce car, her son Charlie has a Jaguar. But when the Pope came to Ireland like myself, he drove around in a transit van.
So I'll sing farewell to Carlingford and farewell to Greenore. I'll think of you both day and night till I return once more. Till I return once more.
This whole building seems to bring out the best in people. It has great character. With a great night here tonight, it reminds me of the past. This is exactly the type of thing that went on here. All the people were involved and thoroughly enjoying themselves. There are a lot of old ghosts around here tonight. As I said, my father used to sit over in that corner with Martin Lynch, Tony Brown, Patsy King, all of them were back here. And anything could happen. It could break out all of a sudden to spontaneous, and the enjoyment was something else. And Rita had always a few instruments there behind the bar, an old guitar. I think there's only 2 strings in it. And there was a melodeon, I think a fiddle too. And really, it was very hard to describe the thing. The thing was excellent altogether. And hopefully we might repeat this singing in the future. It was a great night altogether, and like Patrick King says, we're not finished yet.